Welcome. Thank you so much. I am Teresa Gagnon, your yoga guide. And if you're new to these episodes, welcome. Just so you know that these episodes are organic and totally fluid. I go with the flow of whatever the yoga practice is for me today. This happens to be the Restore and Breathe practice. And today I'm going to keep it really simple. All you need is a blanket, a yoga blanket of any sort, your yoga mat, your great attitude, and a willingness to let go with your bolster. Yeah, with the bolster. So, a lot of us do way too much. I understand. I've been listening. We've been doing a heck of a lot lately, haven't we? So this is a time for you in the 20 minutes just to let go. Can you? Are you willing? I hope so, because we need more and more and more of a surrendering, less is more attitude. We need to love ourselves more. And you don't need me telling you that, because you're here, you've subscribed because you already know that. So let's do this together. So again, we don't need anything else, just your loving attitude. Let's take a moment, simple, Shavasana, literally. Blanket for your head. Maybe you have your socks and your blanket over your body. Maybe you have your pajamas on. I'm going to grab my little mucklucks. I love my mucklucks. Oh, these are my favorite. I gifted these to myself for Christmas. Shh, don't tell my spouse. So literally, Shavasana, supported. Salamba meaning supported. Shavasana is a posture, a pose, a position, your shape for you to surrender, for you to see the insightfulness of the psychology of your well-being and notice what you're noticing and compost and create beautiful thoughts and give yourself permission to breathe healthfully. So get cozy. Once you're ready, the bolster underneath your knees is just to give your back some reprieve. And if you don't want to use a bolster, that's fine too. Laying down is essential. And I've noticed in my practices that a lot of people cross their legs. That's just an uncomfortable state. That's a comfortable state for their discomfort. So Shavasana, we do want to practice opening our legs up at least as wide as the mat. And I noticed that a lot of us, our heads, our shoulders are forward and our chins jet like that because we're future goers. We're like, so in order to lay back, that shape is really uncomfortable for some people to be neutral. So taking a blanket and literally, otherwise they're like this, opening up the arms and then tucking the blanket underneath the occipital, the back of your skull, so that the chin tucks in towards the notch of your throat. That's the essential part. That part makes it complete. Did I just do that? I did, didn't I? So with your chin tucked in towards the notch of your throat, your legs are apart, bolster underneath your knees, feet are warm, heels are down on the mat. So your heels are down. Jiggle your thigh flesh around. There is a practice of breath to this today for Restore and Breathe, of course, obviously. Get cozy, fix whatever clothing you need to fix so you feel comfortable, and then open up your arms. Allow that your arms are expansive, like gentle wings that are not fully exposed and like, whoo, but they're softened. They're just, yeah. Start to close your eyes because it's really important to go inward towards the pineal gland. If you still have difficulty closing your eyes due to traumas of the past, I understand. We've all been traumatized. It does take a practice to close your eyes. But when you feel that you can, or even take an eye pillow and place it on your eyes, that's awesome. If you do need to keep your eyes open, there's no judgment there. Just stare to the ceiling. That's why in my studio space I have like ferns, I have banana leaves in my ceiling so people can stare off into them and pretend they're in the jungle somewhere beautiful. Close your eyes if that's not awkward. Go to the space between your eyebrows. Start to subtly notice your breath without augmenting it. Just notice it. Or augment it if you feel like an urgency to exhale deeply like I just did. As you look inward towards your mind's eye, I'd like to invite you to see yourself, visualize yourself, use your imagination. What are you picturing? Are you picturing yourself in the now, the near future, the past? Can you see yourself with a sense of light, of warmth, of love? So giving yourself an opportunity to check in psychologically the insightfulness of love. How do you see yourself? Can you give yourself love? Can you see yourself smiling, warm and fuzzy at your happiest moments in life? I tend to see myself, and it's automatically, it just happens. I see myself like much later in the future, like when I'm in my 70s, that I see myself standing in knee-deep, beautiful oceanic water with the warm sun on my face, and the temperature of the water and the air are the same. And I'm happy, I'm smiling, I'm content. That always helps me to soften. And it really does, because I do see myself living a good life through all of my traumas and through all of my pains and all that I am. I know that I will survive, and I know that I could do it with love. So this practice is about love and loving yourself. So imagine, use your mind's eye to imagine yourself in that loving moment, full of love. And as you start to visualize that, start to relax your body that much more, from the fingers to the toes, to the crown of the head. If you're being triggered by this, keep on staying with the breath. Just stay with the in and the out breath. And if you can't not seem to visualize yourself feeling love, stay with the breath. One of my most beautiful practices of breath practices is just to breathe that breath in as one. Breathe that breath out as two. Breathe that breath in as 3, and so on until I get to 10. And then I start all over again from 1 to 10 while I practice seeing myself. So connecting to your physical body with breath, that is the physical component. And the mindfulness, the psychology of this, is to visualize yourself with nice, love, warming thoughts and feelings of trust, of faith. And this leads to the spiritual realm of it, that your whole being becomes softer, like water being poured out of a glass. And you start to connect perhaps a little bit more in the frequency, and you start to soften and let go a little bit more until all that you are, your physical, your thoughts, becomes one with just a sense of surrender. This is a practice, it's not a perfectionism, so just give it a practice, whether you're counting your breath, visualization, words, phrases. See if you can soften just a little bit more. Notice your body, notice your being, noticing you. As you start to perhaps augment your breath to surrender and let go maybe of some of the sticky feelings, thoughts, be kind to yourself. Always reminding yourself that this is an invite to learn, to practice. Allow that your breath in and your breath out is kind. All sounds and vibrations around you are just white noise, distractions. Come back to your breath. Come back to your sensations of feeling you. Soften Even in your jaw, let the biting surfaces of your teeth relax. You are relaxed. Relax your fingers, your toes, your knuckles, your wrists, your ankles. You are relaxed. Relax your bum, your shoulders, your knees, your elbows. You are relaxed. Let it all go, like water poured out of a glass. Surrender. Just be aware of how the breath feels in your body as it moves in, as it moves out. Keep your gaze inward if you can, towards your mind's eye. Continuously maybe seeing that vision of yourself, or now you've migrated into feeling it. Maybe it's a blank slate and you've drifted into the unknown, the abyss of the infinite space. That's beautiful. Stay with it. Exhale, let go, surrender. Continue to soften, surrender. You are safe. Allow the universe to hold you. Allow the floor, the earth, Mother Gaia, holding you as you are supported continuously. Surrender. Just begin to notice your in-breath and the expansiveness of it. Without forcing it, just give yourself permission to in-breath more deeply and allowing the rib cage to expand more expansively and the diaphragm in the belly to be augmented. Same with the exhalation, just allowing that your abdominals, the toning of the belly and the releasing and devoiding of that breath out from the lungs to the tidal breath is an awareness that is a guidance of knowing how to choose to let go. So really guiding your exhalation out and also allowing your inhalation to be fuller. Because as the universe is constantly breathing into you, otherwise you would cease to exist. But it's up to you to surrender and to let go of that breath as well and trust that there's a new breath coming in. So it's a dance. So follow that dance of receiving more of that beautiful breath in and truly exhaling and letting that breath go. Start to just mindfully touch your thumb pad against your finger pads and start to just move your face from one shoulder to the other shoulder, just very mindfully. Think of it as mindful movement. So inhale your face to center and exhale your face towards your shoulder. Do that slowly. You can wiggle your toes as well. On your next in-breath, when you bring your face to center, stretch your arms overhead. Grab opposite elbow, forearm, or wrist, or Ganesh grip your fingers. Start to bend one knee, then the other knee. Adjust your sacrum. Draw your knees in towards your chest and just start to rock and roll around in your lumbar spine. Oh, kids are home. Start to extend your legs, bend your knees, and awaken yourself with kindness. Keeping that subtle sensation of your Shavasana, even awakening, being in a state of Shavasana. And when you're ready, start to roll to a side that truly resonates with you and cupping your knees into your chest and giving yourself a hug. Such a beautiful piece in our practice, no matter where you are, is hugging yourself. And as you hug yourself, invite that delightful squeeze and say, I love you. I know a lot of us have a difficult time looking in the mirror and saying, I love you and I care for you or you're awesome. But honestly, no buts. You are. It's all about you. When you're ready to drip that top leg out and down and pressing into that top arm to lift yourself up. Oops, boobies hanging out. Stir around until you find your way into a seat, and maybe you want to use that bolster to sit on. And come to sit. The practice of restore and breath is that it's about restoring and breathing. It's about being present. And no matter what's going on in your external life, that you welcome the responsiveness. Hi, Starla. You could come say hi. So I invite you to every moment in every day to notice how precious this life is. Even if you feel that it's really difficult and it doesn't feel precious, that's your decision making. So coming to the mat and practicing each day in the beauty and the light, come sit, how precious it is to be and how you choose to respond and how you choose to be, and not in a reaction but a responsiveness, is the practice. So that you can share and let that love pour out of you into those that you are in the space with, such as Starla. Come here, come say hi. So I invite you each day on the mat to take note of how much you love yourself so that you can love those who are so precious to you. So the Restore and the Breath practice is about that. You loving yourself so that all that love can fill up and overflow and maybe spill onto those who are ready to receive it. You have a good day?
Mm-hmm.
From my light to your light, keep on joining me on the mat in the next episodes and maybe join me for meditation. Namaste. Life is precious.